Chapter 1. I was sitting in this picturesque cafe in the middle of an unknown city in Italy, sipping my daily espresso like a tired philosopher of the world. The locale had a fake, rustic air, as if someone had looted their grandmother's attic. And there was an old, worn coffee machine. It was quite amusing, to tell the truth. Outside, the sun projected a golden glow over everything, like in a scene from one of those movies where everyone talks and gestures animatedly. As for me, I am Alessandro, your friendly neighborhood finance guy with an unstoppable caffeine addiction. In London, actually before returning to my homeland, I was involved in the futures derivatives market and was a broker specialized in buying and selling forward contracts on behalf of my clients. It was an exciting challenge, a game of prestige in which I had to make the right choices at the right time to maximize my clients' profits and minimize their losses. It was nothing to do with manipulating the market, but all about strategy and market analysis. It was a demanding but rewarding job, and I loved the feeling of making the right choice and seeing my clients happy with the results. If we want to get specific, in finance, everything or almost everything was a matter of luck. It was a dance with the goddess Fortune, and I was the jester at the court of finance. I spent my days glued to a computer screen, watching small green and red arrows flashing as if they had a will of their own. The right moment was everything. Buy low, sell high, and pray not to make a mistake along the way. Sometimes it went well, collecting money as if there was no tomorrow. Other times, instead, my wallet seemed as empty as my soul. This game was an emotional roller coaster, and I was the unlucky passenger struggling to keep calm. But that was the essence of the game, right? The adrenaline rush of taking risks, the sweet taste of victory when things went well. And when they didn't, I poured myself a strong drink and grumbled about how life was just a big rigged casino. Looking back, I realize how chaotic it all was. The long hours, the stress, the constant bombardment of numbers and figures. It was like living in a dystopian sci-fi movie. But at that time I was too immersed, too involved in the game to see the big picture. Then I hung up my broker's hat and turned to more peaceful pursuits, starting with a nice, secure banking job in Italy. Every morning I walked into the cafe and was greeted by a deaf-mute barista named Gino with the warmest smile imaginable. One day, while waiting for my usual espresso, I noticed something strange. Gino was trying to tell me something, but I couldn't understand. Arching my eyebrows, I moved closer, but his gestures remained incomprehensible. "What are you trying to tell me?" I asked, hoping he would understand. Gino looked at me and shrugged, waving his hands as if trying to conjure some sort of magic spell. I scratched my head, trying to decipher his movements. It was like trying to read hieroglyphics, but I was determined to solve the mystery. Finally, after a few minutes of intense concentration, I had a moment of enlightenment. Gino was pointing to the coffee machine and making a twisting motion with his hand. He wanted me to try the new coffee blend he had just put in. Smiling, once again impressed by Gino's communication skills, I said, "Go for it, Ginoni, let's try it." As he handed me my freshly brewed espresso, I couldn't help but laugh to myself. Here I was, thinking I was some sort of coffee connoisseur, and this deaf and mute barista was teaching me something about the art of sales. Now, I recently returned to this sleepy town after 10 years of running around like a headless chicken in London. And sure, everything was picturesque and all that, but damned if I wasn't bored to death. I mean, the people here were so content with their mundane lives that they wouldn't know a risk if it bit them in the arse. So I sat in that cafe, sipping my espresso like it was the elixir of life, and daydreaming about something crazy, something that would really shake things up. I watched all these people going about their daily routine and wondered if they had ever thought about quitting their 9-to-5 jobs and chasing their dreams, you know? Time passed, and my craving for adventure grew stronger and stronger. I felt something big boiling inside me, like a pot of coffee about to overflow. I knew I couldn't go on like this or I would go mad. One morning, as I was leaving the cafe, my eyes scanned the crowded street, searching for my next adventure. And as if fate itself wanted it, destiny had a surprise in store for me. As I crossed the throng of people, I noticed him, a hunchback man shuffling along, head bowed, as if carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. They say touching a hunchback brings good luck, and as unbelievable as it may seem, I thought, what the hell, I have nothing to lose. So I followed him, weaving my way through the sea of bodies, careful not to lose sight of my target. He led me in a lively run, twisting and turning through alleys and side streets until we finally arrived at the post office. Now I knew I was risking being late for the opening of the financial market, but I couldn't let this opportunity slip away. He entered the post office and I got in line behind the hunchback, feeling like a predator chasing its prey. As we waited, I kept an eye on the hunchback, trying to figure out the right moment to make my move. And then, there it was, the perfect opportunity. People pushed us, trying to get the best position in line, but I kept my eyes fixed on the contorted shape of the hunchback. Finally, we reached the counter, and I found myself right behind him. My heart was pounding in my chest, and my hands were sweating. It was my chance to touch the hunchback's hump and guarantee myself luck for the day. I took a deep breath, like a sniper before firing, and waited for the right moment. The hunchback was busy searching for the right change in his pockets, and the postal worker behind the counter seemed impatient. And then it happened. The hunchback moved slightly, and I saw my opening. With lightning speed, I touched his hump. It was all over in a flash. The hunchback turned to give me a confused look, but I was already running out the door, my heart pounding with excitement. I didn't care if I was late for the opening of the financial market. I had just secured my fortune for the day, and nothing could stop me. Walking down the street, I couldn't help but smile like a madman. Sure, it was a bit strange to chase after a hunchback just to touch his hump, but you have to take fortune where you can get it.